All right, everybody, welcome to the crossover edition of the NBA Exchange and A Hard to Tell podcast. Live NBA free agency show. Free agency started tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're about half an hour into it. And look, a lot has happened already. Rocking with me on the show, going to be a bunch of people. Obviously, my A Hard to Tell podcast co-host, Bryan Fonseca, is here. We will also have Jamal Murphy, Jarod Hector, also some special guests joining us. So this should be a very fun show. First up with me on this is my man, Bryan Fonseca from the A Hard to Tell podcast. You know he's here. Very intrigued to see. He's repping. I like that. Repping with the shirt right there. I like it. Intrigued to see what the Miami Heat do. Of course, we will get to that later. But we
that bit is not going to stop, huh?
No, of course it's not going to stop because you don't stop. That's why it's not going to stop. Oh, it's going to stop. Of course it's not going to stop because you don't stop. That's why you don't stop. But look, man, a lot has gone on in these first 35 minutes or so of free agency, right? A lot has gone on already. Even just saw some news. TJ McConnell. Yes, we're talking about TJ McConnell. He just signed a deal to stay with the Pacers. We'll get to that. We got a lot to talk about. Before we even got to free agency, last week with the draft, we had the trade of Russell Westbrook to the Lakers. So there was a lot going on. And before we got to this day, we even saw Kawhi Leonard opt out of his contract, which I think surprised a lot of people. I think a lot of people, due to his injury, partial tear of the ACL, thought that he would opt in. He did not, and he stays. So there'll be a lot of conversation around that. Talks about Kyle Lowry possibly joining the Heat in a sign and trade from Toronto. We'll get to that later. But I think probably the biggest news that we could start with be Lonzo Ball, sign and trade from New Orleans to Chicago, agrees to a 4-year, $85 million deal with Chicago. New Orleans gets back in the deal Garrett Temple and Tomas Satoransky, along with a second-round pick. I thought Ball could have been a perfect fit for a lot of teams, including the Knicks. Were you shocked to see him go to Chicago?
I was shocked to see it so quickly because we have been seeing reports, and Chris Haynes, I believe, was the one that broke it. But he was somebody who was on this, where there's a lot going on between Lonzo Ball and Chicago. When I read it, I noticed that it wasn't an offer sheet or anything like that because we knew it was restricted free agency that he was headed for. But then he gets signed and traded to Chicago, and I actually like the fit more that I think about it now than I probably put any thought to before. I thought the Knicks should have went really hard after him. We'll see what they do to address their point guard situation. But I think that this is going to be good. You'll have the ball in Zach LaVine's hands a little bit less so that he isn't forced to do as much offensively. I'm hoping that Lonzo Ball gets to run the show a little bit in terms of being the floor general that he was drafted to be several years ago. I think that he can still, be a guy that gets you those 7-8 assists per game and really runs your offense. And that's not to say Zach LaVine isn't going to have the ball. He's going to have the ball plenty. Trust me. I just don't think that Lonzo Ball has to be reduced to a 3-and-D point guard, which is basically what he became in New Orleans.
Yeah, it's really what he came in New Orleans. And you would like to see him in an environment, like you said, where you can push the tempo a little bit more. He's got some players to work with. I thought he could have been a really good fit for the Knicks, though. I know myself and our producer, Greg, we talked about this. We thought he was a guy who could play D, come into Tibbs' system, hit the open shot. The Knicks need some shooting. We'll get to some of the moves the Knicks have already made later, bringing back some guys that were already on the team. But, yeah, I thought Lonzo Ball could have been a good fit there. But I think this is also a good pickup for Chicago in a year where they didn't have a draft pick that they gave up in the Vucevic trade. Now they get a talent like Lonzo Ball, who, hope he's developed each year, like you talked about, as a shooter. And hopefully in this situation in Chicago, he actually can excel. Maybe we see him penetrate a little bit more. His game becomes a little bit more dynamic. He's going to, we can find guys and what he can do in the open court. So, it's a good signing for Chicago. I know all the Bulls fans out there got to be happy about this. They got a point guard. They got the guy that they thought to. So now some other big news just breaking right here. Sign and trade for Kyle Lowry is a 3-year deal. I believe this is with the Heat. As talked about, you can see, everybody can see.
Kyle Lowry posted. Kyle Lowry posted on his Twitter.
On his Twitter, Miami Heat times Kyle Lowry, let's go.
Oh boy!
Woj retweets a 3-year deal in the sign and trade for Kyle Lowry.
We got a guest coming in a few minutes that we're gonna break this down with.
That is we'll put him in the same category as Brian. He is a Miami Heat specialist. We can say that he's a Miami Heat specialist, but he'll be coming on and rocking with us. The rest of the crew will be coming on a little bit later. Murph will be here soon. Jarod Hector will be here in the 7 o'clock hour as well. All right, Brian, you cover the Heat pretty closely. You know what's going on. And what do you think about this deal? What do you think about Lowry going to the Heat, what this can do for them? Gives them some toughness in the backcourt. Lowry's a guy who seems like he'd fit right into that culture with Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. Now you add Lowry up in there. Pretty good addition, right?
And it looks like they're going to keep Duncan Robinson too. So that's going to be interesting to see. I saw reports about 4 years, 5-year extension. I thought that Duncan Robinson was somebody that could be packaged perhaps with Tyler Hero even for a trade. We'll see if that ends up happening. It doesn't look like it, at least at the moment. But again, free agency just started. I think that this is going to be good. I think people are doing the over analysis of like, oh, this is not going to get them anywhere closer to like the Bucks or the Nets or anything like that. And I think that a lot of you motherfuckers are losers. I think a lot of you motherfuckers are losers because you guys don't really want to just like compete at all. Like you think that people shouldn't want to be competitive. You don't think that people should actually want to try to win regardless of who's in front of them. Do you see people that are more talented in your lives and just be like, nah, I'm not going to try anything. I'm just going to roll over and let this person defeat me or get this job that I should get or anything like that? Like, no, you should want to fucking compete. And I like what the Heat are doing because this is a competitive move. I like what the Bulls did getting Lonzo Ball. That's a competitive move. Like, nobody should be scared of some of these teams like the Brooklyn Nets, for example, because they got hurt last year and they might get hurt again this year. Milwaukee, does anyone think they're going to repeat? The Suns, did they look unbeatable? The Lakers look pretty fragile. The Clippers won't have Kawhi Leonard and go on down the line. Portland might trade their best player. Boston doesn't look quite right, et cetera, et cetera. Is Atlanta really going to repeat what they did this past year? If I'm any one of those teams or anybody else, like, yeah, I'm looking at this NBA championship and it looks very attainable to me. The league is a lot more fun when a lot of teams are going for it as opposed to where it's just one team reigning supreme over everything. And I don't think that's going to happen this year. I like what the Heat did because if they don't win, they're going to lead the league in pain in the ass. So when you lead the league in pain in the ass, then you could then basically be super competitive and at least frustrate a lot of the teams along the way. 2 years ago, I felt like they were a team nobody wanted to play. A lot of people, when they got Jimmy Butler, said that they probably weren't even going to go to the playoffs. I said they can get to the finals, and this was before COVID, and then they ended up doing that. So we'll see what happens, but I think this gets them closer, and they only traded Goran Dragic and Precious Achiuwa reportedly to get this done. So
you sound like a Heat fan. You still sound like a Heat fan. Murph, what's up, man? Our man Murph.
I'm looping up all the teams into it. If I'm just a team that I am like over 500 or whatever the case may be, like, yeah, yo, I want to fucking compete. Everybody's like, oh, this isn't gonna move the needle. That you sound like a bunch of fucking editors at like these old websites and old blogs and newspapers or whatever that don't know shit. Like, oh, these things aren't gonna move the needle. Like, who gives a fuck? All right, like who cares?
Wow,
you have to give it a shot. You have to give it a shot.
You really came with your energy, and as you can see, our man Evan Gualberto, who was on our last live show, shout out to Evan there, telling you to go off. You don't have to win. You don't have to encourage him. You don't have to do this, Evan. Murph, how you doing, man? What do you think? What do you think of the move of Lowry going in the Heat? Before we bring in our next guest, who's about to join us, who's a big time Heat guy, we'll bring him in a second. But Murph, what do you think about this move of Lowry going to the Heat?
I mean, it makes sense. Lowry's a Heat type of guy, no nonsense player, plays hard every night, gives it his all every night, still very productive at age 35, I believe. So it makes sense. I think it makes the Heat better. How much better we will see. I still think they're a little notch behind the Nets and probably Milwaukee. But they can mix it up, and it just, even without him, they were a threat. So with Lowry, they're even more of a threat. And like Brian said, people, it's not going to be fun playing against the Heat if they're on all cylinders and they weren't last year. And if they're healthy and ready to go, it's going to be no fun playing against the Heat.
No fun. Well, somebody who has fun watching the Heat is the next guy to join us. He is a good friend of the Backpack Broadcasting Content. He is coming to us live from the Bahamas, my Caribbean brother Timmy. Timmy, what's up, man? How you doing?
Is he in here?
Is Timmy with us? Because he was with us. He is not with us. I think Timmy is coming back.
Daddy's doing something.
There we go.
Timmy, there you are. All right, Timmy, what's up, man? How you doing?
We're gonna let him get settled in real quick.
All right, we'll let Timmy get situated, and then we will come back to that. But I think
difficulties.
There we go. We hear you. We hear you,
Timmy. We hear you. He's not hearing us.
You can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, I can't hear you, so I'll fix that in a minute.
No problem, man. Just tilt your camera up whenever you get a chance. But Timmy joining us from the Bahamas. We have
okay. I hear now. Okay.
So we have some more. We'll get back to the Heat in a second. Chris Paul has agreed to stay on a new 4-year contract with the Suns that could be worth as much as 120.
120.
120.
Yeah.
Yep, 120. Timmy.
4.
This is Woj just reported this. So yeah, 4 years, a lot for Chris Paul. He re-upped and he got the bag. So I guess he's okay with that. But Timmy, let's get back to you real quick, Timmy. How you feeling about your?
You got a lot
Heat?
going on over there,
I see you got the Heat shirt on.
I got the Miami, the Orlando Heat shirt to the bubble. I didn't expect Duncan to get 5 years. I thought it would have been at least like 3-4 years.
That was the other deal. Duncan Robinson, 5 years, $90 million. That just got a
Wilson. That's the most ever for an undrafted player. Shout out to him. Most ever for an undrafted player, $90 million. Lowry, they haven't said the figure for Lowry yet, but I know yesterday they said it might be like 87. 3 years, 87 million.
3 for 87.
So
okay.
I was listening earlier. I heard Brian talk about Hero. With keeping Duncan and keeping Lowry, they can keep Hero, but I think they won't. I think they're gonna probably use the MLE to sign a 4, maybe Otto Porter, or I'm gonna see Jermichael stayed with the Nuggets.
With the Nuggets, yep. Yeah,
so maybe maybe Jeff Green, the Jermichael Green. I like Otto Porter, even though he really got his mark, so I don't think he's signed for much. DeRozan's, I don't know how we could fit DeRozan and Larry and Jimmy and Bam, because that's a really small.
Calm down, Heat fans. Calm down.
Yeah.
Hold on. Fan, I don't know. But look, DeMar DeRozan, I don't really know if that makes a lot of sense. But like,
I don't. Yeah. And I saw that DeRozan might actually go to the Bulls now that they turned Lonzo into a sign and trade. They might sign, and I see Doug McBuckets just signed with the Spurs.
Yep, he just signed with the Spurs. Three for 42.
And I thought it would have been a Duncan for the DeRozan trade because the Spurs really wanted Duncan, but they got that shooter. They got Dougie.
It's gonna be interesting. Are you excited? Are you as hyped about the Heat to me as Brian is?
Yeah, because Brian can tell you, me and Brian argue. We watch. Brian, like, I hate to see. I've seen at least 100 dribble handoffs in just this season alone. Like Spurs offense, like he was handicapped by Duncan. Like he has to run a dribble handoff every possession. It's painful to watch. Every possession, dribble handoff. Now we have Larry. Larry can do pick and roll. He can do a pick and pop. He can go to the rim. So now we actually might see the real Bam now with Larry. Now you have Larry in one corner, Jimmy maybe in the dunker spot. You have Bam. And either you get and Sam Mitchell just said in NBA TV, you'll never see the real Bam until he plays power forward. So I don't know if they might get a stretch 5 or. But even if we only got Larry, I've been excited because we haven't really had a point guard who could set the table and like ever, because the Heat never really had point guards that pick and roll point guards. We had Chalmers, who was a 3-and-D, Norris Cole. Maybe Timmy Hardaway was the last real.
Timmy Hardaway was the last one, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a long time since we had a point. Even though Larry was 35, we just saw what Chris Paul just did in the finals. So
here we go. All the Heat fans are now going to believe that Larry is going to do what Chris Paul did for them. See, Timmy, I see you, man.
Next thing you know, they're gonna be like Larry for MVP. That's what we're gonna hear next year. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to go through this all over again.
Bound for the best player of the year. Bucket.
Well,
look, he should have got it this past year, but they want to give it to fucking Rudy Gobert because he knows how to stand in the paint.
You're still angry about that, Brian. You're still angry about that.
But look. All
can we?
Yeah. Go ahead, Timmy.
Can we talk about how Chris Paul had a whole lockout just so he could get paid his money? You know, because it used to be over 36, and now Chris Paul, and remember Chris Paul was the president during the lockout, he made over 38. So this Chris Paul doesn't get this deal today if the lockout never happens. You know, so he thought ahead.
Look, man. There's no way Chris Paul could not get the bag, right? Like the president of the Players Association, he had to get the bag here. He had to make sure he got all the money. I'm a little surprised it's 4 years. I'm definitely surprised at that for Chris Paul.
Like I said, he made the rule. You only them could have offered 4 years. Everyone else had only 3. So it's like Chris Paul made sure that his rule came into effect.
Came to benefit him.
Yeah,
right. Made sure it came to benefit him. Is there anything else that surprised you guys so far? We talked about Lonzo before you came on, Timmy. Murph, is there
I'm surprised it actually was a sign and trade. I thought it would have been. I thought it would have been like a bigger one. Like we saw the Devontae Graham when it been thrown in. I didn't expect it to actually be just Sato and Garrett Temple. And it's so crazy. Pelicans went from clear space for Lowry to calling Chris Paul, especially the Dinwiddie, to Dennis Schroeder. Now they're getting Sato. You know, like they're not even in the screen now. But I hope the talks of Zion leaving isn't true because I mean Zion is 20. Like he shouldn't be they shouldn't be that scared already. But you'll see, you know.
They're scared. They scared.
They scared. You saw how you talked about playing in the Garden, Timmy? Did you see that?
Yep.
That man was real excited about that. Murph, anything that shocked you this far? In terms of in the first, we're coming up on an hour. In the first hour, anything that was shocking?
I mean, the only thing that's shocking is that somebody wanted to give McDermott all that money. I don't know what.
Shoot is a premium
out there, man.
Shoot is a premium.
Yeah, can you shoot when it matters though? You know what I'm saying? Like, is regular season shooting a commodity? I don't know. You know, it's like Joe Harris, great regular season shooter, but in the playoffs it was a little tight. You know, shoulders got a little tight there. So you got to watch out. You know, paying these so-called shooters
Murph
all this big money.
But you didn't like Doug McDermott at Creighton?
I did, but that's the last time.
That was the last time.
Because I know you a college guy.
Yeah, I love it. He was great at Creighton, but it's, you know, you step over those lines, those NBA lines. You know, I don't know what it is. That pressure is something. You know what I'm saying? The better athletes, a little better defenders out there. But the ball thing obviously wasn't surprised because we had heard about it. You know, coming into today, that was the rumor. But I still don't quite understand what New Orleans is doing there. We knew, speaking of Zion, I mean, you got to assume that Zion signed off on this, right? Because you wouldn't do anything if you really wanted to play with Lonzo Ball. They would have had to keep him, I would think. But Lonzo himself probably wants the ball in his hands more. Zion, they're giving more of a ball handling responsibility. Point forward. So that takes the ball out of Lonzo's hands, makes him kind of a spot up shooter. So I guess, for himself, he probably wanted to move on. That's where I would take it.
I can see that. I wanted
Timmy,
the ball in his hands.
last one because we're about to have somebody else drop in a few minutes. So last one before you head out. Duncan Robinson. Do you think that the Heat are actually going to keep him now that he's re-signed for what's being alleged 5 years, $90 million, or do you think that they can still package him?
No, I think if it was going to be a trade, it would have already been announced. I think it's to stay. Because if it's not for DeRozan, it's not going. Like we spoke before, it would have been for DeRozan or Brandon Ingram. But the fact that it's been announced that he's staying and no other follow-up, I think he's staying. And now that we no longer have to run our offense through him, you can actually see how he looks when he could just have you can imagine a Larry Bond pick and roll. Duncan running off a screen from Jimmy. So like that's actually a real offense now. I just saw that Torrey Craig sounded places. Like, why would you go from a contending team to go to the paint? That's shocking to me. I didn't think Torrey Craig would go to Indiana. That's shocking to me.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what some of these other teams do. But Timmy,
I have a second team now. Kai Jones with the Charlotte, so I'm watching Charlotte.
Oh yeah, that's right. But here's the thing. I was saying that Charlotte's gonna be nice. Nice might be too strong, but they're gonna be in the playoffs or play-in or whatever again. Like they're gonna be pretty good. They have a good top 7. We're gonna talk more about that. Timmy, thank you for dropping by also because we're gonna be talking, but I might have to bring you back depending on what else the Heat do. You know what I'm saying?
I hope. Well, hey, let's just say
here we go.
It might be Malik Monk. Just keep an eye on Malik Monk. Remember him and Bam with the college together. Malik Monk and Bam with the college together. We need a shooting guard to watch. We'll talk an hour. It might be Malik Monk or someone like that.
Timmy,
and he's a Heat killer. So Timmy,
one thing I know about you, man, is you love the soca like me. You're gonna root for the Heat, and you're gonna root for anybody that comes out of the Bahamas.
That's it. Soca, the Heat, and any Bahamian.
Soca, Heat, Bahamian, and the Heat. And that's it. It all goes together. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man.
And my the other guys.
All right, later, man. All right, that's Timmy Bain, big time Heat fan. Thank him for joining us. We appreciate that. Guys, like I said, a lot has happened within this first hour. Oh, shout out to my homegirl Camille. She's a big Heat fan. This is one of my long time friends. Shout out to my homegirl Camille. Huge Heat fan. This is probably the longest Heat fan I've known. She's been rocking with the Heat from the morning Tim Hardaway days. And that's my homie and I love her, but I hated her in those Knicks Heat battles. So thank you, Camille, for watching. I appreciate you, sis. I know you're hyped about the Heat. I'm sure she'll be messaging me later about Lowry for sure. No doubt. Too many Heat. Murph, too many Heat fans around us, man.
I know what's going on. I didn't know that he had too many fans. Every time I'm in Miami, it's just Knicks fans at Heat games. So I don't know what happened.
But you know what it is. But like Dexter knows this. Like we joke and shit. But first of all, I really like Jimmy and Bam. And I was a Bam guy before he was in the NBA, even like at Kentucky or whatever. And I was saying before he started for Hassan Whiteside, like, yo, this guy could win Most Improved Player if they just fucking play him. And then he almost did. The organizational get down. You know what I'm saying? A lot of organizations in the NBA don't really know what they're doing, don't do right by the people that are there, and don't really stay competitive for sustained periods of time. And they're one of the few that managed to do that. It's them. Spurs, lately the Raptors, but not a lot. So shout out to the Heat.
All right. Well, bringing in another member of our team, our guy, Jarod.
3 minutes early.
He's here. Yo, Jarod is always early. Murph,
3 minutes early. Well, he wouldn't say that about us.
Oh yeah, listen, y'all. All right, let me not air out no family business out here.
What I'm gonna say is don't lump me into.
No, also let
we
me
went
not
out the other night, guys. We had a good time.
Let me not lump my man Dex in with these other two.
Thank you.
First of all, but when we went to the first spot, I had beaten Dex.
You were the first. I mean, I was the first person as always, but you were right there.
Murph was,
Yeah, listen, Murph got 2 young kids. Like, listen, life be stressful sometimes. You got a lot happening.
Jarod is understanding. Jarod, I know you were a little bit busy while you joined us a little bit later, but I'm sure you've been up on everything that's happened in the first hour. Before we get into some more stuff, what has shocked you in this first hour of NBA free agency?
Nothing really shocked me. I mean, I will say, I told y'all, right? I was off on the Chris Paul deal by a year. I didn't think they would give him the 4th year, but I had forgotten because he's going to be plus 38. They have to give him year 4. So not have to, but that's like a whole CBA thing. And with Chris being the president of the union and all that, kind of made sense. But 4 years at 120? So what I said 3 years at 90. So it's just 1 more year at 30. Look, the reality of it is that they owe him, right? They already made the finals. So you got to pay him for that, right? Like that's essentially what this is.
Final tax.
Right. And if they make the finals again, it's not only the deal, if the deal's well worth it, right? You got what you needed. Because look, the West has got a lot of injuries, guys. Like you sold in the Lakers. I'm not. Jamal Murray coming back off of ACL. I don't know what's going on in LA. We know Kawhi's hurt. Like, look, Dallas, Luka needs help. Like, there's
Portland might blow up the whole thing.
Right. Like, we don't know. And like Utah, everybody's back in Utah. All right. So they'll be a tough team to beat. But, I think that this is the smart move for Phoenix because if Chris Paul didn't resign, you weren't, first of all, there's no guarantee they're going back to the finals. Let's just say that. But if Chris Paul didn't resign, they were definitely not going back to the finals.
I definitely got to agree with that. We talked a little bit about Lowry to the Heat.
Yeah.
I want to move on real quick to just some other moves. The Knicks made some moves, small moves, maybe not the bigger moves that everyone expected. I think a lot of people, as we talked about at the top, thought they would be in the conversation for Lonzo Ball. Obviously, went to Chicago in the sign and trade. But the Knicks bring back Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks. Nerlens Noel, 3 years, $32 million on the re-sign, and Alec Burks, 3 years, $30 million. So very nice contracts, tradable contracts, bringing guys back that fit in the system. Seems like they're using their cap space wisely, I guess I would say. They're not just spending it to spend it. Let me pause this right here. Kyle Lowry, the numbers are out. 3 years, approximately $90 million with the Miami Heat. So those are the numbers for Kyle Lowry. 3 years, $90 million for him with the Heat. We'll get back to that in a second. As far as the Knicks go, bring back 2 guys. They're also been rumored around Evan Fournier. Don't know how else the Knicks spend the money. But these moves bringing the Knicks back, Brian, you think they're good moves for what they got in the deals that they signed these guys for to bring them back?
Yeah, I was hoping that they wouldn't go the super aggressive route and try to get like a superstar yet. And try to like picket all their assets to do so, because I still feel like they're a year or two away from that big of a move. But this is smart because Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel were 2 of your best players last year. And Alec Burks is the kind of guy that a lot of good teams are trying to get right now. A guy who can come in, could knock down threes, could start if you need him to. He started for the Knicks last year. He might not this year, or he might. It doesn't matter, quite frankly, because he's going to produce at that number. And could shoot about 40% from 3. Nerlens Noel, as far as the advanced analytics goes, was one of the best defensive centers, or really one of the best defensive players in the NBA last regular season. So you keep those 2 guys on affordable contracts, easily tradable. It gets you ready if you need to make a move for a big star in the future, whether it's in February, whether it's next season, or whatever the case may be. You can assemble the money needed to sort of get there with the help of these 2 contracts. Unfortunately, it's a little bit cynical to think of it that way, but at the end of the day, the NBA is a business. As far as the players go, I think this is a good fit, and it gives you an option, specifically in the Mitchell Robinson. I almost called him Michelle Robinson. The Mitchell Robinson situation at center. He's on his team option again, and he's going to be up for a new contract next year. You don't have to give it to him. You could trade him. This just gives you flexibility because you have Nerlens Noel in your back pocket. You can commit to one or the other down the line. You don't necessarily need to do it right now. So overall, I think the Knicks protected themselves now, and just, continue to stay steady and see how next season goes for you.
Jarod, how do you feel about the moves of them bringing these guys back?
I think it's smart. Look, one of the things the Knicks would always do in years past would spend money and go after someone, swing and miss, or not even swing and miss. It's a fine player, but like you eat up all your cap space, you lock into a bad term deal. What they've done since Leon Rose has been here and with Wes, they have a plan. It's very clear they have a plan of what they're doing, and they're not locked into any bad deals. All those contracts are movable, and they're productive players. Now, the question, though, for the Knicks is, are they doing any more moves this year, or are they playing it out to see how does RJ develop, how does Quickly develop, et cetera, right? Because the East, guys, here's one thing I was thinking about. We talked about it on True Hoop today. The East, the balance of power may have shifted to the Eastern Conference. The East is really good. Like, look top to bottom, not just Brooklyn, Milwaukee, right? Like, look, it's good, man. The teams are excellent in the Eastern Conference. And the Knicks, they were, a 5 seed? It's possible that they, are an 8 this year, or hell, in the play-in, just because the conference has gotten so much better. So I'm curious to see what they're doing are we trying to go back in and get back to that 5 seed, or it's like, nah, we got a long-term plan. We're developing. We're going to sign Randall, potentially move him to get a bigger star, whatever it may be. But the moves in terms of keeping Nerlens and Burks, I like it.
Okay. Murph, you in on this as well, too? You liking the moves? Everybody seems to like the moves. The Knicks seem to be showing patience. We saw this draft night, them moving down. What do you think about their plan and what they're doing?
We got to wait and see. I mean, they basically just bringing everybody back. Where's the improvement going to come from? Like Jarod said, I guess you're banking on the RJ development, which is not, you can't sneeze at that. I would expect him to get better next season. I expect RJ to be a very, very good NBA player when it's all said and done. Quickly, you're waiting on his development also. But, I just feel like even through the draft and now, it's just it has Tibbs stamp all over it. To me, it just looks like they're trying to make him comfortable, trying to give him the team that he wants, and banking on that, banking on him developing the team further and taking that next step. And if that works, we'll see. We'll see. There might be a move that they're still waiting to make. I would like to see some sort of move to improve the team. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Knicks fans out there would like to see the move of point guard. Obviously, Derrick Rose still out there. Will they re-sign him and bring him back? There's a lot of questions out there, but been some other good moves. Former Knick. Let's talk about a former Knick. Tim Hardaway Jr. 4 years, $74 million. It wasn't purported at 72 at first, but now it is at 74. Jarod, you say woo. People were saying that when he got 4 for 72 in 2016. That, now we're in a different time. The cap's gone up. Things have changed. Is this the move the Mavs had to make to bring him back? Because they don't really have that much scoring options.
I mean, it clearly is, because the Mavs wanted Lowry, and that didn't happen, right? He was down there in Miami. And look, Luka needs help. I don't want to say the Kristaps thing ain't going to work, but early return so far, not looking great. And, look, THJ is a good player. I don't want to make it seem like he's not good. And honestly, that's the thing about the salary cap and when they did collective bargaining and all this stuff. Sometimes guys in certain, brackets, you're like, ooh, is that a slight overpay? Sometimes guys like THJ, particularly when you're a team like Dallas, where he's your guy. So he's worth more to them than he is to anybody else, right? Mm-hmm. So they're like, damn, we got to get him back. And so, yeah, you kind of get over the barrel and you got to pay some real money, and it's not crippling. I would ideally have liked to pay him a little less if I could, but I'm not going to kill him for it. The bottom line is, though, again, in that Western Conference, if you're rolling out with what Dallas just currently has right now, is that a conference finals team? I don't think so.
Yeah, a lot of that will depend on KP there. So we got the 4 year, $74 million from there. We talked about the Jazz earlier. Conley back with the Jazz. I think this was another expected move here as well. Conley getting 3 years, $72.5 million to stay with the Jazz, come back. They had to bring him back at point. Obviously, this will help Donovan Mitchell. Murph, you like this move for the Jazz to stay, keep that continuity that they've had? Can't hear you, Murph. Looks like your mic was out.
Yeah, I said,
there you go.
Yeah, they didn't really have a choice. They had to bring him back. There weren't any other point guards that they could go out and get that would give him the same type of value. You have to bring him back. And it's a good move as long as he's healthy. We saw at the end of last season, he had the hamstring issue, really hurt them. The season before, he wasn't at the peak of his game. He had started to get that last season before the injury. So you just got to hope he stays injury free. And when he is playing well, he's a tremendous help to Donovan Mitchell. I mean, it has to be a situation where Donovan is not the only guy that can go get his shot, or, you have to pass it to Donovan at the end of the 24-second clock, and that's your only hope to get a basket in that situation. And Conley provided that when he's healthy. So it's a good move to get him. He got the money that he deserved based on the way things are going with all these point guards, these old point guards getting money. So he fits right in there too.
Speaking of getting money, somebody in Cleveland got the bag. That's Jarrett Allen. 5 years, $100 million to sign and stay with the Cavaliers. Bryan, what did you think about this? Not just that he gets the bag, the pairing with him and Mobley, I think that can work, actually. I feel pretty good about that. But 5 for 100 for Allen, you like that move or no?
That's a lot of money, man. I ain't even gonna hold you. That's a lot of money.
What is it? Is it?
Well, here's the thing.
Not that bad. 20 million.
Well, I'm also looking at it from the prism of you could kind of find centers for the most part. Now,
can you though?
He's better than a lot of the other ones, sure, but I think he could live up to that contract. It's just I didn't expect him to get a 5th year. Just sort of off the strength. I think but again, I like Cleveland probably more than most. I think the combination with, if they keep Colin Sexton, we'll see how that goes. But Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, Isaac Okoro, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen is your starting 5. Ricky Rubio's coming off the bench. They have a couple other guys whose names are escaping me right now. Larry Nance is still there. Kevin Love, I don't know what they're going to do there. I still think Cleveland is going to make some sort of trade at some point, maybe for one of those names or involving one or two of those names I just mentioned. 5 years, $100 million. Shout out to Jarrett Allen. He got the bag. I mean, there were some interesting social media things that were floated around earlier that I don't want to speak on necessarily regarding that. But yeah, Jarrett Allen, congrats to him. He's a great guy. Takes kids Thanksgiving shopping, and he's going to be good for the community in Cleveland as well as on the court. Now I can't hear Dex. That's great. That's just fantastic.
Sorry, people. I had muted before because I was drinking some water, but news just came. Jeff Green will not be back with the Brooklyn Nets. 2-year, $10 million with the Denver Nuggets. This according to his agent. So 2-year, $10 million deal for Uncle Jeff. So pretty interesting there.
So does Blake Griffin go back to Brooklyn, we think?
Well, Blake for sure is their number one target.
So. Yes.
Yeah, and then they'll probably use the taxpayer mid-level on another sort of like forward 3-and-D type. Like you said something interesting, Brian. You were like 5 years, 100, like the bag, whatever. And like, yes, I mean, I guess 20 million. I mean, look, so of course, $20 million is a lot of money. But I mean, in this context,
I think it's a steal.
I do, because look,
maybe
you know in this league, what do you need at the center position? Athletic, rim running, right? Who can protect the paint, who can switch, and who has the potential to step out to shoot threes. We've seen Jarrett Allen, at least in warm-ups and in practice, step out and hit threes. Like, and he's young. Like, this is the kind of player you need. Like, I'll tell you what, I bet the Nets would still like to have him right now on the roster, right? Like,
I mean, shit, we were saying that when they made that trade.
So as much as you're like, oh, you just get one of those. Them dudes ain't just out there like that. And I love the pairing with Mobley. I think, again, because Mobley possesses a lot of those same intangibles in terms of his ability, not intangibles, tangibles in terms of switching. So I think, you go big, like, it kind of, you're zagging while the rest of the league is zigging, right? But it's like, go small, go small, go small. All right. But if we go big and we can switch, that's a real problem for other teams.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be interesting. And for that 20 per, I mean, like, relatively speaking, what's DeAndre Jordan making right now?
10.
14 per? Or 10?
10, 12, something like that. Too much. That's your answer.
He's basically stealing money from the Nets.
Well, I mean, so that's the thing, right? So like Jarrett Allen at 20 or DeAndre Jordan at 10, right? It's like, all right,
and Jarrett Allen at 23 years old, and and I think he's going to get better. He's a smart guy. He's a good. We all know him. He's a good locker room guy. Mm-hmm. Like, there's nothing negative about him, especially off the court. And to get him to lock him up for 5 years at 23, I guarantee you he's going to be a better player 5 years from now or 4 years from now than he is now. And you still had him locked in at 20. Who knows what his value will be, after his third year of that contract. So I think, I think it was a great move by Cleveland. We don't say that often. They look really smart with that move, at least.
He'll make an all-star team, I predict, on that contract. He will make an all-star team.
Okay. Well, I mean, if he
I'm not, I don't know if I'm gonna go there, but I think he absolutely can.
12 and 10 last year. If he improves,
well, I've thought for pretty much since his Nets days that his ceiling is probably like 15 and 10, 15 and 11 with a couple blocks per game, and that might get you an all-star depending on the season and depending on how good your team is. So
Jarod, I wanted you to go a bit further in just saying that he would make an all-star team, because you really got to push Brian's buttons on this. You got to go out there. What you got to do is you got to
he's going to be the next Bam Adebayo, obviously.
No. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. No. It's not you got to say he's going to be better than Bam Adebayo.
Yes.
That's what you got to do.
That's right.
You mean like the dude? You mean Dex? You mean like
he might be a better shooter.
Yeah, he'll certainly be a better shooter than Bam.
Dex, you mean like the dude who used to say that and blocked us after we made him look fucking stupid on Twitter? You mean like that?
Why you got to be so angry, man? Why you got to be so angry?
Don't be angry, B. I will say this though,
shit, Bam made an all-star team already. He almost made 2. So whatever.
Talking about and obviously the Heat re-signed Duncan, right? What do you get? 72?
5 for 90.
Oh, fuck. I messed that all up. Anyway, a lot.
18 a year. No, 72 would have been 18 for 4. They just give him the 5th.
Oh, see, that's I cut these guys short a year. Whatever.
It's all mathematics, like most Steph said. You know what I'm saying? Like,
would you? How are you feeling? I mean, try to take your Miami Heat fandom off.
There ain't
like, take
Stop
it off for. I know. Take it off for a minute. Come on, be objective. Like, how you really feeling about this squad though? Like, real talk.
I think whose mic is that? One of y'all went rogue over there, yo. Damn, son. Shit crazy over there. No, I think Bertans got 5 for 80. So I mean, you can justify that in terms of like.
But the roster, I'm cool with Duncan's money. That's fine.
Yeah. But the roster. So here's what it is, right, Jarod? Greg, put all of us on the screen so I could like sort of see. I like seeing who I'm talking to. You know what I mean?
See us laughing at you while you laud the Miami Heat.
No, it's not even that. But I'm gonna reiterate what I said earlier that Jarod missed. I think a lot of people are fucking pussy, and this is what I mean by that. A lot of people.
Yes, that is your life mantra. We know this. We know this.
A lot of people. Here's the problem, right? A lot of people, as soon as they got Kyle Lowry, or allegedly did, like yesterday, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, this is not going to be good enough to face the Nets. This is not going to be good enough to beat the Bucks. Oh, this, and that." And I'm like, yo, do you guys in your real life apply for jobs, don't get them, and look at these motherfuckers like, oh well, like they're better than me? Like, no, you're supposed to fucking compete. The whole point of this shit is to compete. There's like 14, and people are gonna think this is crazy. There's like 14 teams in the NBA that think they could win a championship this year. It's that wide open. There's not 14 that we think can win a championship this year, but that list is probably more than 5, I would say at least. I would say the year before in the 2019-2020 season, before the season started, I remember we were doing these same pods, and I was saying I think there's 10 teams that could legitimately have a shot at winning it all. And it turned out that the Lakers and Heat were in the finals. And then this past year was the same thing. And then it ended up being the Suns and the Bucks. Like, I think that it's a move that pushes them forward and makes their roster better. They're better today than they were previously.
I agree.
Do I think they're more talented than the Nets? No. Do I think they can beat the Nets in a series? We'll see when the rosters are out because there are a lot of variables. Like, every single team in the NBA has an injury problem now. Sure. Because the seasons were coming off, just injuries in general. Like, every single team, I could literally look at every single one and be like, this person you have to worry about getting hurt, this person. The whole point of this is to take a shot. I like what the Bulls did in getting Lonzo Ball. They're taking
that was an offer sheet though, right? Or do they straight up like
sign and trade? Garrett Temple, Tomas Satoransky,
and a second round pick for Lonzo Ball.
Wow.
So and for the Heat, it was sign and trade. It was Dragic, Precious Achiuwa, and I think reportedly a future second. But
we knew well, that's why they signed Goran, because they knew that was gonna move. With
the point is like, I like that the NBA is so wide open, and I agree with what you said earlier, Jarod, in terms of like the Eastern Conference kind of being better at this point. I agree.
Think it is better.
I think it's better right now. And I think probably the last 2 years it's been more interesting to me. I don't know if it's been better the last 2 years, but it's been more interesting to me because of how wide open it is. More. There are like, because 10 teams make the playoffs now because of the play-in.
Yep.
There are probably 7 or 8 teams in the Eastern Conference that are like, you know what, fuck it, we're gonna go for it, and I like that.
Yeah. I like what the Heat did. I think for them, honestly, and this is real talk, I'm not trying to be funny. Like, Bam's development to me is going to be key. If he's consistently hitting at 18-footer, shit. When they get and he does his normal defensive stuff, blah blah, all that, they good to go. But like that's the one for me, because then Lowry makes sense. Then all the other pieces, everything else makes sense for them. So I like it.
Well, some people think that
here we go.
He's going to turn into Kevin Garnett.
But well, I mean, you did say that. You did say that.
Yeah, but Kevin Garnett wasn't Kevin Garnett overnight, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like,
except Kevin Garnett coming out was way better than Bam. But that's not even though
Kevin Garnett. He was kind of a beast.
Kevin Garnett, I believe, was a league MVP.
Yes,
was he not?
Kind of a beast.
Was he not a league MVP?
In his 9th NBA season, yeah.
Okay, but
he was legit.
So Bam gonna be a league MVP, is what you're telling me.
I call him Bam Garnett for a reason. All right.
All right.
We can have this conversation while I'm in my 30s. We can have this conversation while I'm in my 30s. You know what I'm saying? Listen.
And for anybody listening,
we all have things that we like to project. I'm taking a shot. So far, minus the jumper, I'm good money.
I'm about
Shit.
to go. I'm about to go.
Let me say this. Let me say. Hold on.
Basketball reference.
It's a different game now. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
for anybody who's
more wide open offensively, he should be scoring more now.
no, but here's the thing that favors Kevin Garnett because you were actually giving dudes the ball in the post back then. Now it's like, oh, Jarrett Allen, go. We're gonna alley it to you, bro. Fuck that.
He wildin'.
You're a Heat fan. You're a Heat fan. You're a Heat fan. This is proof. You are a Heat fan. You right there with Timmy.
No. You know what I'm a fan of? I'm a fan of myself. I'm just defending myself.
I'm a fan of myself. I love it. Okay. I love it.
Yo, you and Timmy got the same energy. Same energy.
I'm a fan of myself.
Come on, please. You also
let me add this one more thing, like regarding Duncan Robinson. I think he has this reputation as like just a shooter because he's white and he could hit 40% of his threes. Even more than that the previous year.
That usually does it, but yeah.
Yeah, but he does a little more than that, like just off the ball stuff. Like I think he's better, well-rounded than say Joe Harris been at least the last year or so. So we'll see how that goes.
More clutch. He's more clutch than Joe Harris. I'll tell you,
yeah.
Like he's, he hits big shots in big moments.
Listen. If Joe Harris is another stinker in the postseason like he did last year,
I still think there's a shot that Duncan gets traded. It looks like they're going to keep him. I still think that can get flipped because they do like Murph's boy, Max Strus, who they had on the two-way. They're very high on him, apparently, internally. So we'll see what happens.
Murph, your boy Trey Young, expected to get an extension. 5-year deal will be well worth $170 with a potential to reach $201 million.
Has he made an All-NBA yet? In his first 3 years? I don't think so, right?
No, All-NBA, I don't think so, no.
All-star team.
Dex, is the 2-0, I don't know if it says it. The 201, is that for an All-NBA?
Yeah. You have to get All-NBA to get the 201.
It's incentive. Yeah, it's incentive-laden deal. This is reported by The Athletic.
Over 5 years? I think even at point guard, I feel confident.
Oh, he probably make All-NBA next year. So
right, because it all goes off
he'll probably get
previous season.
Yeah, he'll probably get 2 or 3 during that span.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. Now, all these rookie extensions can't be signed until after midnight tonight. So even the free agency stuff that we're seeing announced, the rookie extensions, that news won't really come through. But, we knew Trae Young was going to get an extension. Here's another signing I want to ask you guys about. Kelly Olynyk. Yes, we were talking about Kelly Olynyk. Mm-hmm. He signed a 3-year deal with the Pistons for $37 million. How are we feeling about that? Murph, how you feeling about Kelly Olynyk getting 3 for 37?
Murph, I mean, I don't know.
Murph, you had that same face on when the Wizards drafted your boy Kispert. No, excuse me.
I actually feel better than that. That's a better. Olynyk is a better signing than drafting Kispert. I'll say in the lottery. But I mean, he's a solid player. He's going to help. I'm curious as to why. What need he fills for Detroit, why you would go out there and try to get him. Who is he? Like, is he helping a young guy that you're trying to develop?
No.
So like I would have rather him go into a team that is a playoff contender.
Yeah, I was a little shocked this move. You got Grant on the front court.
Are you really? Like, Detroit is going to throw money at fucking just people. You know what I mean? Like this.
They did do that last year. And I mean, Grant played better for them than I think a lot of people expected. I'm not going to go and say I think that's going to happen for Kelly Olynyk. Like, I'm not going that far. We already people going too far in the show talking about Bam Adebayo. But that's a whole other story.
That wasn't on this show. I've been saying that for a while. All right.
Well, yes, which makes it even more ridiculous. But yes, we agree with that.
Responding to Kelly Olynyk, right?
Yes.
I remember I had an exchange because I angered some people in Houston because I said that Miami still didn't lose the Victor Oladipo trade. This was after he got hurt because they ended up trading Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley and getting Victor Oladipo back. And then the Houston Rockets fans were like, oh, but look at how good Kelly Olynyk is playing. This and that. He's averaging 19, 8, and 4. Some people were saying like he's the best passing big man I've seen and shit like that. It was getting crazy. And I'm like, y'all aren't even gonna keep him. Okay. Like, y'all aren't even going to keep him, and you could have had somebody much better. I don't remember if it was Jarrett Allen, Karis LeVert, instead of Victor Oladipo, whatever. And the Heat basically just took a shot and was like, look, instead of paying him mad money today, let's just actually make this stupid trade and see what happens. And they got their intel, and now they have the medicals and all that shit. That's really to say, stupid Houston Rockets fans, y'all didn't even keep Kelly Olynyk and let him go to Detroit. And there was a rumor, I think Jake Fisher reported this from Bleacher Report. Not sure like if this is gonna happen. That Andre Drummond, that Houston was interested in getting him for like 3 years, $70 million. I hope that happens. I hope somebody gives Andre Drummond that money. Please don't learn from past sins. I hope that shit happens.
Chill.
Christian Wood, Andre Drummond, John Wall. Who they got? Jalen Green. Oh my God,
that just sounds terrible.
Look, Go ahead, Jarod.
I was gonna say this isn't a bad deal. First of all, they need a big man. Like they traded Plumlee, so they needed somebody.
You're right, I guess.
And with that young crew, look,
don't they have beef stew?
They do, but he's a little undersized.
Yeah,
he's only 6'8".
He's.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's very undersized. Yeah.
He's 6'8". He's nice though, but he's 6'8". So look, you got he plays big, but like you got the young guys, right? So you got Killian, you got Sadiq Bey, you got Stu, you got Cade. Like, all right, maybe they try to build something there, like with the young guys and like with Olynyk, you're like, all right, let's give us some size. We can't go in without like some kind of tall person who can do some stuff, right? And then you got Dwayne Casey, who they're gonna preach defense there, and this team will guard at least, right? Like we know that, and then we'll see how the offense comes around. I think they'll be all right. Like, look, I ain't saying they ain't making a play in or anything, but they'll be all right.
They're not making a play.
A lot's going to depend on how good Cade Cunningham is.
Yeah, for sure.
And how fast too.
Yeah.
Like, does he come in right away where he's a major factor and he's putting in work and putting in triple-double type numbers, which is possible. I'm not sure myself. Like with Cade, he's kind of a hard guy to evaluate because he never seems like he's. He always seems like he has another level to go to. You're just not, you're like, wait, this kid might be able to do it on the next level too. So you just never know. Maybe they think that he's the type of guy that could get them in contention for that playing game or something like that. And that would be a huge success. And maybe Olynyk would help in that way.
Yeah, it could help in that way. Also, Gary Trent Jr. will be returning to the Toronto Raptors, 3 years, $54 million deal. Interesting move by them too. Not a bad deal. Right. Trent's a good player, but it's another small guard in their backcourt. They already got Fred VanVleet. They have another small guard here, but he can shoot. He plays tough. I like him as a player. Didn't know if Toronto would want to keep him, but they do here. What do you think? We talked to Murph. You and I talked a lot last week about Toronto and their development and people who were killing them for drafting your boy from Florida State.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah. But I actually like that a lot, and I don't know why people are against Scotty Barnes.
The Gary Trent contract? Oh, Scotty Barnes.
Scotty Barnes, yeah. We're talking about the Scotty Barnes move, too. You've got some size there now also on the wing. You think this is a good move for the Raptors and what they're doing? They're sort of reshaping their team now with Lowry out, Van Vliet, the young guys is OG, Pascal Siakam. We'll see if he bounces back this year. You like this? You guys like this move for the Raptors, bringing back Gary Trent?
I love it. I think, look, here's what Masai and Toronto's doing. They are banking on, and I'm talking to people around there. They believe that this is Pascal, like this is bounce back year coming. Like he's gonna be ready. And then with Boucher and OG, that is a hell of a front court, man. Like they're long, rangy as fuck, can guard the hell out of people. Scotty Barnes already was he 6'8"?
Yeah,
6'8" guy. Yep.
He can already guard the fuck out of people, right? Like. And I'm like, this team's going to be a nightmare defensively. Like, I like them a lot. And remember, Scotty played some point at FSU. So, look, and of course, you got Fred. And I love the re-signing of Gary Trent Jr. to give you shooting. Like, I think Toronto's going to be good, man. I think people are going to be like, damn, the Raptors. Yeah, I like what they're doing.
Yeah, I think people might have been sleeping on them a little bit. You like this move? You like this move too, Murph?
Yeah, I second, everything Jarod just said. I mean, even with the Lowry deal, getting back Dragic, I'm not sure what they're going to do with him.
I forgot about that.
They're going to buy him out, and he's most likely going to go to Dallas.
I don't know why they would buy him out. Honestly, I mean, you could probably get something for him, or if you kept him on the team, that's a tough team. Mm-hmm. I just like like everything they're doing. Siakam, I'm still with him. I haven't lost faith in him. I'll give him one bad year in a COVID season where they never even played in Canada. You know what I'm saying? They're in Florida with your boy as the governor, giving everybody COVID. I'm giving you a pass just for that. You know what I'm saying? I love Van Vliet, OG. Boucher, he's going to get better. They got a lot of, and Scotty Barnes, I've already talked about, for days how much I love that kid. And I think he's going to be better than anybody really projects. We're just not sure what his position will be because he's kind of positionless. But he can do it all out there. He's a better shooter than everybody says. So, no, I love what Toronto's doing. I think they're going to be good next year. I think they're going to be in the playoff mix next year, if I had to guess.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They're going to be good defensively, and if Siakam bounces back, they're going to be tough. And I like that Scotty Barnes pick as well too. Now, I was hoping we did not have to talk about this on the show. I was really hoping we did not have to talk about this on the show. We do not have the terms of this deal yet, and there's no reason anybody should be talking about this on any free agency show.
You're such a hater.
Unless you are Brian. Bobby Portis is returning to Milwaukee.
Of course he is.
With the video.
2 years, $9 million.
With the video montage. That's it? Holy shit, man. People are getting this guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Nothing. You thought your boy should get more?
Yeah.
Nah, chill.
Not
you know what it is, Brian? No.
Listen, he's better than Kelly Olynyk.
Is he though?
Yeah.
He could be. I don't think he's shown that.
So here's where
you're coming from, though.
I hear what you're saying, Brian. Here's the thing. Here's why I think the 2 years, 9 makes sense. Because for what Milwaukee is going to ask him to do, this works, right? We saw, look, he can't, like, a feature guy, that's not him. Like that, no, you don't want that.
I'm not saying that, though.
You don't want feature Bobby Portis.
Puncher, yeah, but
yeah.
Well, you need one of those.
You got him in that.
You need some of those on your team.
But for what they need him to do, come off the bench, hit threes, guard, this is perfect.
Apparently,
Apparently,
he turned down more money from Miami and Dallas as well too.
He's the notary he killed you. He's like, I ain't about that life.
Here's the thing. I'm not gonna leave Milwaukee if I'm him because of how much they loved him and they're chanting Bobby, Bobby. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he has a chance to actually bet on himself, opt out, and run this back again if he wants to. So it is a smart deal from that perspective. I just think like Kelly Olynyk ain't $28 million better than this dude. I don't think he ain't no $1 million better than this dude.
I think he's shown a little more. What he did in Miami. Olynyk,
he's not better, Greg. I'm telling you, he keeps writing in the chat. He's better. Bobby Portis averaged 11 and 7 last year coming off the bench.
Why are you?
Kelly Olynyk can't even rebound like that. He had 8 rebounds last year because he was playing with a bunch of motherfuckers who don't rebound either.
I think Olynyk has been has had a little better career.
Greg is just mad because Bobby Portis went to the Knicks and tanked his value. If Bobby Portis didn't go to the Knicks,
Bobby's eyes.
If Bobby Portis didn't go to the Knicks, then he would be much better or have a much better reputation than he does.
I mean, Brian, keep it real though. You really only like Brian because you like Bobby because he fights. Like, let's keep it.
No, I told you I liked him when he was in college.
He's fighting then too though.
Yeah, I liked him in college.
You know what it was?
I liked him and Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. Those are my two sleepers.
I believe that about Brian because it's not only Bobby Portis clearly is proven in the NBA by punching somebody in the face that he exudes everything that Brian is about. But when Brian saw that man in college and the way he played, the toughness, the rebounding, and then he saw his eyes.
Oh, that's it.
He was like, yo, you got the crazy eyes? Oh, yeah, I'm all in. Brian was all in there. It's the crazy eyes.
Now he has
and didn't he just get a WWE belt?
He sure did. So Brian loves him even more.
No. Not even that. He showed up to the event and took the ring with Bobby Lashley. Do you know who Bobby Lashley is?
In a fake sport, I mind you. In a fake sport,
by the way. That is a WWE champion, first of all.
Wrestling, not real.
And here's the thing. Bobby Portis is also, you know what? And he's since said that he's grown from this comment that I'm about to share with you guys. But remember, there was a story many years ago. I think he might have still been in college. Like before every game, to hype himself up, he pictures his opponent slapping his mom in the face. This was back in the day when he was in college, and I'm like, yo, dog, I feel him. Because sometimes you got to get to that fucking place.
See,
you got to get to that place to perform.
Bobby, like Brian, a little unhinged. Y'all
want people to be level-headed and all this shit.
Yes,
like
yes.
sometimes you just gotta, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Sometimes you just gotta hype yourself up. You know
I love
what
my main guys to be level-headed. I don't want them being crazy, wilding out, unhinged. I don't need that. But
their career numbers,
also, hold on.
And Porter's career numbers are
hold on.
Very close.
I bet they are.
Let me add this. This is transitioning, but our dare I say our white privilege signing of the evening so far.
Muscala.
Full screen, Greg, please. I want to see their faces.
Muscala.
San Antonio Spurs, 3 years, $22 million.
I saw that.
Zach Collins. Yo, Greg,
and they got
Max,
McDermott.
Your mic. We can't hear you. But yo, yeah. Zach.
Who got what?
Zach Collins, 3 years, $22 million with the San Antonio.
Okay, here's what I'll say real quick. Zach Collins does have talent and skill. Now, his problem is, listen, I'm not saying like I'm not saying you should get 3 years, 70. What? No. But he's been injury prone. But like, we have yet to see what this dude can do. He actually plays because he's nice. But I don't know that I would have given him 3 years and all that.
I'll tell you what. He ain't better than Bobby Portis. I don't give a fuck what you say. if he can step out on the court and prove it, then you can prove me wrong.
And by prove it, what you mean? Punching somebody in the face, or you mean actually playing?
Look, Bobby Portis. Listen. 18 or 16 points or whatever to close out finals game. A lot of people don't get that opportunity. John Starks had it many years ago and it didn't work out.
Don't you ever
why Starks get that drive by though?
Don't because what you're forgetting there is I talk about he didn't play good in the closeout game. Go look at game 6, which was a closeout game, and John Starks actually played well. So don't try to come to me with that, Bob. Next you're gonna say Bobby Portis is better than John Starks because he's not.
No. He's not. Not yet. Give him
Bobby Portis.
Not yet. See what he could do.
Oh my God, this is ridiculous. Now, Murph, I gotta say, I saw this and I'm glad Brian brought it up. I saw the 3 for 22, and I'm with Jarod all the way on.
Oh, it's 22. I thought it was 72. I was like, damn, that's a lot of money.
That was
22.
What if it was 72? I might have shut this stream off.
22 still too much.
Look, 22 is too much for the.
Honestly, what is he proving?
Well, he's
still young.
He's still yeah. So are you on board with this signing for the Spurs, Murph?
Yeah, why not? I'm not sure what the Spurs are doing.
Look, y'all not giving Bobby Portis static over $9 million and celebrating the Zach Collins bullshit.
If anybody could develop him, it's San Antonio, right? Like, but now
he's 22.
It's 2022. The question is though,
23.
Can they keep his ass healthy? That's the situation. Can this dude be healthy? Yep. That is the key. And I don't.
Who do you believe in more there in San Antonio? Zach Collins or your boy Jakob Poeltl?
Jakob.
Wow.
Zach Collins averaged 7 and 6 last year in the 11 games he played.
Zach has more potential
than Bobby Portis,
but that doesn't mean anything. Pirtle's actually getting, he's done a little something in the league. Got to go Pirtle right now, but Zach has a higher ceiling.
Shouts to my guy Jakob.
Pirtle.
Oh my God.
Alex Len, 2-year deal with the Sacramento Kings. Mike Muscala is still in the league. Apparently is now. 2-year, $7 million deal to return to OKC.
Wasn't he there already?
He was. Yes.
Yeah. Sixers re-signed Korkmaz.
So they keep
Walker.
Some shooter. Christ. Yeah, that.
Yo, B. I hate to tell you, dog. I think it might be a wrap on Kemba though.
Well,
I think it might be a wrap. Like as that dude.
I was gonna say no, but Jarod is right. I was gonna say in terms of what, because I think he can still be a good role player, like a solid
good role player. But like as that dude,
I think it's pretty clear that his knee shouldn't take. That ain't it. Like starters minutes is gonna be tough. Back to back is gonna be tough. Like his knee is more jacked up.
You gotta come off the bench for 18 minutes, be a microwave energy guy. 18, 20 minutes, you can do that. So be a super sub.
I think that's what it is at this point. Look, we've said it with small guard. See, the thing is, like, he was never injury. He had never had injuries before he got to Boston. I'm not saying like Boston's the reason or anything like that, but
I am.
Trevor Ariza.
I mean,
Trevor Ariza going back to the Lakers on a 1-year deal.
Sounds about right.
Are you excited now, Jarod, about the Lakers?
About their shooting?
Doesn't that excite you?
No, definitely not. No.
Well, look, he picked him up last year, and he was somebody who quickly got into the starting 4 role in favor of Kelly Olynyk for obvious reasons. But I mean, if the Lakers are going to play him at the 4, then because he's skinny, he'll get moved around and things of that nature. He's more of a guy that can guard down.
I mean, I haven't seen him be a good player in like.
I mean, look,
years.
It wasn't bad last year, but he can guard 2s and 3s pretty well, some 4s, but
he wasn't bad for Portland in the 2019-20 season. Except he didn't play in the bubble. He didn't decide to go to the bubble, but he was all right that year.
I mean, I think the Lakers are probably going to mostly use him as a 3-and-D guy next to LeBron, and that'll help.
But let's like the Lakers just need more, man. Like, and I don't mean like their spacing is just crap. Like, who's shooting on that team, man?
What space do they have left? Do we know?
Well, they got it's all gonna be veteran minimums and
veteran minimum, and they have the mid-level exception, right?
Do they have a biannual?
No, they do not.
No.
They do not. So what the way the Lakers could work, what they really got to do is they got to re-sign the guys that were on the team last year. So you got to bring back Caruso. They can spend the money to sign their own guys. They can bring back Markieff Morris. If I was them, I might look at signing and trading Taylor Horton Tucker. That's something they could do to bring back in some other pieces. Those are the moves that they really can make. And like Jarod said, is vet minimum guys and the mid-level exception. That's all they have. So it's not a lot of room to add shooters, and they need to add shooters. Now, I think Ariza's a good role piece, but where are the other shooters coming from? Are you going to Wesley Matthews is another dude they can re-sign, but I don't even think they have his bird rights.
You know what's going to happen? The Lakers I see happen, they're going to be actually a very good regular season team. They're going to win a ton of games. But then come postseason time, and this is not like he's an all-timer. Like I'm not. Russ is a career 47% true shooting, like in the playoffs. Like that's not good. Like, and when teams know, make that dude, and Russ ain't. I'll shoot it. It's like, all right,
they've been making that dude shoot for 10 years.
It's like all right, my guy. Go ahead, man. We let you go ahead. We know you're gonna hit 20%, so we good with that.
Yeah, I don't know. That Laker team
I think he's the worst 3-point shooter ever by volume.
He might be. I mean, so it's just. I just don't like
statistically, not opinion.
And then think about it too, right? Like, look, and this is true of all great athletes, right? The way that they have played has gotten them to where they are. Like, and so I'm not even saying Russ is wrong per se, but how you going to tell somebody who's MVP, the all-time triple-double leader, all this shit? Yeah, Russ, nah, I'm gonna need you to get off the ball and cut and do this other shit. What? Nah, that don't work. Like,
I mean, I'm just gonna push back on that for a second to say maybe it's LeBron. Maybe LeBron is the guy that could tell him that.
That's the only thing I'm gonna is that if he reveres LeBron because LeBron is.
Do we have an indication that he does?
Well, the Lakers just added another shooter.
Who?
Wayne Ellington.
I knew they were gonna do that. I knew that was coming. I
mean, these are the kind of guys you got to put around.
That's all they can get. That's all they can get. They ain't gonna get like.
Honestly, this team is looking ugly to me. Like, I'm not even sure I want to watch. Like
Murph, Wayne Ellington is not tickling your fancy.
No, not. I mean, he didn't even tickle me when he was a rookie, when he was in his 20s.
Yeah, you were like him at Carolina. You would think he was nice then. You're like, nah.
He was all right at Carolina. He was a great shooter.
He was with the Ty Lawson crew, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, he was with that crew.
So.
I think they might have been in the same draft. I mean,
they were nice. That was nice.
Wayne Ellington's a guy who could come in and maybe shoot even 40% from 3 again.
I can see that.
How old is he, man? How old is Wayne Ellington?
Probably 30 or 31.
Right around
that.
32, 33. I don't know. How long was he at Carolina?
33.
He's 33. Okay.
But he don't got Russ's game. You know what I'm saying? Like he gonna be on the corner, waiting for that Bron pocket pass.
It really depends with that. I'm gonna hold judgment on them. I'm like Murph. I'm not feeling good about that roster, but I got to see more with the moves they make, and if they can add some better shooters to some shooters that maybe make you a little bit excited. I see your face, Murph. You're like, nah, I'm not excited about any of this. I think they're going to have to add some shooting. And I think Jarod brings a good point, which we'll be talking about all the time next year. Who's going to keep, I hate using this term, but to keep Russ in check. If Russ plays within himself and his game is in attacking the rim, That's all
fine. They fine.
But that's fine in the regular season.
Right.
In the playoff, when you see playoff defenses and they're daring him to shoot, and like you said, Jarod, he's going to feel like, I can shoot. Is he going to make the extra pass? Is he going to look for the shooters? I don't know. It really comes down to how Russ plays and what kind of shooters they put on that team around him.
What can he be? Because he can't be the guy he's been the last 10 years or so, because he's not going to have the ball that much. I mean, that's LeBron.
The thing.
LeBron is still going to have the ball, and Russ's whole game that makes him effective at this point is having the ball, getting to the basket.
That's a fair point.
Triple double, man. Is he? And I'm really not trying to diss Russ, but that the triple, like he goes out for, he tries to get.
He's a stat hunter. We know that
he goes out for that. So and he's not going to be able to do that next year. So I don't know.
It'll be interesting. And that too, Dex, really quick. That I'm with you. Stay on the Russ point. Also, look, the Anthony Davis health is also
that's the key by far.
If that dude is unhealthy again,
which he probably will be.
That will be. I think that's a great point. And Murph, I want to say to what you said about Westbrook playing on the ball for all of his career. It's a great point, because even in the situations where he's had to play off the ball, he's played with another talented guard, a la Washington, a la in Houston with James Harden. He don't really do nothing without the ball. He'll just be standing there. Like, what have we ever seen in terms of what Russell Westbrook can do without the ball? And I feel like maybe, I'd like to see inside of him somebody or LeBron or coaching could push him and say, all right, you got to move a little bit more when you don't have the ball. You got to do some other things to help the team. It's fair for people to question it because we haven't seen it. And, I definitely think it's fair. Yeah,
he's going to do some things to help the team, like rebounding,
no doubt,
and the energy and all that, and have a great athlete. But to me, like Beal was the perfect fit for him, because you have a guy who's more of a shooter, stays on the perimeter, can get to the hole a little bit. Then if he didn't have anything, he's passing out to Westbrook, and then he had that with Harden. It's like they just take turns. You take turns on this Laker team, it's going to get ugly.
It's good. It could be ugly basketball. Go ahead, Jarod.
Let's think about this Westbrook thing again. And again, this is not like a knock on him, but this dude played with Kevin Durant and James Harden.
Right.
Like Kev was like, nah, I'm good. Like he was with Harden last year. Harden was like, nah, I'm good. Like Paul George was like, oh, word, Kawhi trying to get, I'm gonna go with you instead of Russ teaming up with me. Like, I'm not saying guys don't like Westbrook. I think they just know that if we trying to win in the postseason,
right,
this guy is a problem.
And it's not even about
and not in a good way.
Yeah, it's not even about guys leaving. Just look at the results of those teams. Like, people are like, oh, Westbrook, Harden, superstar tandem. What happened? It was a disappointment.
Yeah.
Him and Paul George, disappointment.
Yeah.
Him and Beal, they gave Russ all that, and he deserved it. He gets all the credit in the world, having a pretty good season last year, still averaging a triple-double. They snuck into the playoffs as the 8 seed. And this guy who averaged a triple-double did not make an All-NBA team.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Let me add this, though.
Real quick, Brian. His most success, and again, this is not a KD thing, but his most success is playing with Durant
and Harden.
That should tell you what you need to know.
Well, here's the thing. I'll shoot Russ a little bit of bail on last season, because Washington was not very good, and he actually turned it on. And when he did, they got a lot better. And Bradley Beal was sort of leading the way the entire time before that. And Washington was firmly out of the playoffs, and Russell Westbrook going crazy the last several weeks of the season, to where people were talking about him potentially getting All NBA and things like that. That ended up putting Washington in the playoffs. So,
but he was also there at the beginning, right?
Right. But that's what I'm saying. He wasn't very good, and he was injured, and then they were load managing him and all this stuff. And then presumably he got healthy and turned it on at some point, and that was really what kicked Washington's season into gear. Which is to say, look, he helped them elevate to whatever that level is going to be, and that's what he's going to do with the Lakers. He's going to be able to carry them on some nights in the regular season. We'll see what happens in the playoffs. That's also kind of to say, are they sure they want to keep Bradley Beal? But, that's another story for them.
Yeah, and that's my thing. You have two of these guys who are supposed to be two of the best players in the league, Westbrook and Beal, and the best they can do is sneak in as a playing team and then get beat by the Celtics.
Boat raced. got boat raced.
Yeah,
no, wasn't it? No, it was
Celtics.
Philly.
Philly.
Philly?
Yeah,
Philly,
but didn't they lost to the Celtics in one of the playing games, right?
And the one in play-ins, yeah. And then they ended up beating. Then they beat the
Charlotte.
Pacers. Or Charlotte.
And another thing, like about the players around the league, and this, Bradley didn't go to management and was like, "Yo, get Russ out of here." But they asked Brad if it's cool we trade Russ. Clearly, Brad was like, "Yeah, we good with that."
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised. I'm as surprised as anybody up here that LeBron and Russell Westbrook are going to be teammates. But I'll tell you what,
LeBron must think that he got the Russell Westbrook magic, and I can tell that dude whatever, and he gonna do what I say. Well, listen, we know Russ likes to do what he wants.
It's gonna be
so
fun.
We're gonna see if he's gonna listen to LeBron and acquiesce. We're gonna find out.
He will, because he'll look and be like, "Damn, LeBron made Space Jam. I gotta listen to him." That's what's gonna happen. And you know what's interesting too is like Wayne Ellington. We talked about, he shot 42% from three last season, career 38.2% shooter from downtown. So he should be able to help them, but they're gonna need a lot more guys that can really stroke the three. Maybe Danny Green returns to LA. I don't know if you want to do that. They're really gonna have to add shooters there. It's the Lakers' free agency is gonna be very interesting because, as you said, Jarod, the limitations on the guys that they can't get. So we'll see what they do. Go ahead, Brian.
Since we have like a little lull here, because there ain't, I ain't gonna fucking break that.
Yes, we're talking about Wayne Ellington.
Yeah, Wayne Ellington.
Dwight Howard. Wow. Guess where he's going?
Lakers, baby, going back to LA.
There's that floor spacing.
Look, Lakers are going all in on we playing bully ball and grabbing every rebound that's available. It's clearly what they're doing.
Is Dwight Howard gonna start? No, right?
He's not starting.
AD best starts. Wait. Before that, I wanted to bring this up real quick because we have a lull. How do y'all feel? I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask anyway. How do y'all feel about how you've been able to differentiate this year between the reporters and the non-reporters in terms of everyone having sources this time of the year in the summer? Because the timeline is on fire, and I can see a lot of people are sophisticated enough to tell who's who, and I can see a lot of people coming out like, for example, Mark Stein will report something on the Dallas Mavericks, and this Mark Stein is Dallas, is solid. Then you see a couple people hop on, be like, "Yo, heard the same thing. Here are the terms, perhaps, that they're talking about." And I think a lot of people, not Mark Stein, I think a lot of people are full of shit. So I'm just wondering how you guys are navigating that.
We know who you're talking about. You want to call them out by name or not?
No, because that's what they want. And I'm not even talking about that person. I'm actually, it's actually there's a lot of new ones now.
Well, you know, for me, when it comes to this news breaking thing, right? It's obviously Woj and Shams, it's Vinny, it's Mark Spears, right? It's Stein. Like there's like a handful of dudes, right? It's Haynes. Because Haynes broke the Chris Paul. It's a handful of dudes. So you're like, all right, cool. I don't care. I'm like, if Stephen A says it, nope. Like none of them dudes I don't trust. Like it's only those dudes who are actually covering the NBA who have those relationships that we know. That's who I'm listening to on that end. And then anyone who talks to me, I take what they say with a grain of salt. I'm like, y'all lie to me all the time. So
I just look at it like I don't follow whack people. So
well, that's also that.
Stop following these whack reporters, man. Like you ain't got these frauds. Just stop following them. I don't see it on my timeline because I only keep alerts on for the real ones.
It's very easy for people to get fooled. I'm learning. Whatever.
All those fake Shams and Woj accounts.
Oh my god!
The one earlier about DeRozan going to the Clippers got a bunch of people. I was like,
you got dudes, for that. You got dudes at legitimate outlets out here acting like they actually know people and they've never been to a game before. And people are buying the shit.
Because think about it, right? That's the thing. Anybody like, oh, you work for NBC, you must. It's like, and we know NBC Sports don't really go to any games like that. It's just because everybody aggregates, right? Like, so it's just,
or the Sports Illustrated team sites. This is why I never, and we talked about this before, separate conversation, but this is why I never cared to go the reporter route. One, I want to sleep like a regular fucking human, and I'm already having a hard time doing that in my life currently, right? Imagine being a breaking news reporter. But two, who cares about breaking news like that? Like, the shit will come. It's way more fun to just do what we're doing opposed to doing
we're doing a free agency show. Clearly, we care.
We're not breaking the shit. Is what I'm saying. I'm not out here making calls like trying to feed you. I don't care how the information comes in.
I'm surprised. I'm really shocked you did not break the Bobby Portis news. We are shocked.
I have no interest in doing that. Bobby gonna let us know, and he evidently let us know. So
Dwight returning to the Lakers.
Shit like
Murphy,
that. Like, you really want me to stay up and be like, yo, Dwight Howard is returning to the Lakers, guys.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
this is gonna be my
yes.
job. I'm gonna show up in a suit and
Yes.
tell you that fucking Solomon Hill
And you have
resigned
to,
with
you
the
have to do
Hawks.
it. You have to do it 1 minute before the next person. That's the key.
That's the
Right?
key.
Yeah,
That's the
I ain't
key.
sweating over that, yo.
Does Dwight?
I'll be single forever. Fuck that.
Does Dwight still have good value in terms of returning to the Lakers? Murph, you're right. He does not help with the floor spacing. Brian, you mentioned the fact that maybe they should play him at the 5, although I think with Russ on the team, the Lakers should lean all the way into AD playing the 5. I don't know why you wouldn't do that.
Dwight should come off the bench and be the backup 5.
I would agree
AD
with
should
that.
start at the 5.
I agree with that.
I think we all agree with that.
I think Dwight still is good value as a backup and still can. We clearly saw what he did 2 years ago for the Lakers. But this, I guess I wasn't thinking about the Lakers going big. I mean,
are we about to break this down for real?
No, I just.
All right.
Well, I don't know what the Lakers are doing because they've got him and Gasol now. They're kind of older at the 5. You thought maybe maybe thought maybe they might want to look for a stretch guy.
What's up with Schroeder?
Stretch the floor.
What's up with Schroeder? What's the deal?
He ain't going back to
listen, he's
they
one
don't
of
have
those
much money.
dudes.
They don't have his money. Like they can't sign and trade or anything like that with him.
They could sign and trade him.
Nobody want him. See, Dex, I don't want to scare you, but
don't do it. Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
Oh, nah,
Listen,
that's messed up, man. Don't send him over there.
No. I'm not saying they should, and I'm not saying they should. What I'm saying is that, unfortunately, what's going to happen with Dennis Schroeder is that I feel like he's one of these dudes that's probably not going to get signed right away. So, like, we're going to forget about him, and then, like, 5 days into free agency, somebody's just going to land him, and you just don't want to be that team. So, if I'm the Knicks, I don't even know if it's worth a shot.
Can the Knicks still afford DeRozan at this point?
They can.
Campaign already re-signed.
They've only
with
spent
the
they've only
Suns.
spent 21 million of their 50 in cap space, so the Knicks could absolutely get DeRozan.
Do you want DeRozan with RJ Barrett and Julius Randle?
And I talked to Jarod about this the other day. No, because of the spacing. Like, I like DeRozan because he's another shot creator, which the Knicks need. But I'd like somebody better that could stretch the floor. This is going to sound crazy, but I think a better fit for the Knicks if they were going to spend the cap, it might be a little bit cheaper, and they could get him probably in the $17, $18 million range for a couple of years. I'd maybe go Fournier over DeRozan because he stretches the floor a little bit better.
Me and Jamal made the same face. Look,
I think DeRozan's still nice to me.
But even with 17,
he gets to the line. He gets to the line. I wish he shot the 3 better, but he's nice.
Mid-range assassin.
Mid-range assassin.
Look,
which
you said 17, 18 million a year, and like there's reports that the Heat are trying to get him for the MLE. I mean, I don't know.
Fournier?
No, DeRozan.
And that would be just DeRozan would make that decision only if he thought that
if he wants to play with Lowry and
win a
championship and maybe go for a championship.
If he does that, I mean, good for the Heat. But then their spacing in their starting lineup would need to be a little bit better because who's not helping them with spacing? Bam Adebayo.
Damn,
Jimmy Butler.
You're right about that.
Like, no, I'm not, and that's no shade to them dudes, but like they're limited on the shooting already. So I don't know how great of a move that is. Now DeRozan brings toughness. He'll play good with Lowry. I don't know how you feel about that. So, we'll see.
But DeRozan can hit, and he hits outside shots. They're just not 3-pointers. So there's still some sort of spacing there.
Yo, I just dropped a link to the tweet in the chat that I want Craig to put up on our Summer Jam screen here. Because Michael Lee got that off. It was pretty funny.
Yo, Michael Lee, shout out. Great hip hop reference for that.
Come on, Greg, put that up.
Definitely got to do that. That's a dope tweet. We definitely got to show that tweet. That's a dope.
I mean, we'll see with the spacing. I think. There you go. I think that we should actually just pull up some tweets like this. Probably find.
I love it, yo. I mean, listen, right? Like. That of course makes sense because yes, Chris Paul is in fact a player president, right? Like that is his actual job, and so we know that he's never going to do any deal that's not going to get him the full bag because how can the president of the players union not do that? Like that's right.
That's why when people were talking about he might take a minimum deal to go
I'm like,
sign
what?
the Lakers,
Who said that crazy shit?
Like,
I'm like, nah, he was never doing that.
Come on, he's not doing that. Before we get up out of here, guys. The teams that have a lot of cap space, the Knicks at 52.6 million, Spurs 48 million, Mavs 33.5. OKC at 30, Grizzlies 24. Your team, Jarod, Raptors even had 22 million to spend. The Heat 20, Hornets 16. Those are the teams that have the big money. Do you think these teams are going to be judicious with the cap space? We've seen the Spurs spend a lot of it already, I guess. Or do you think teams like the Knicks are going to be a little bit more patient, maybe wait for their guys, some prices to come down? How do you see these teams with a lot of space spending their dollars?
I think they're being smart because part of the reason is there isn't that big name out there, right? It's like they don't want to go big game hunting, but there's no Kevin Durant, no LeBron, there ain't no big game out there to go hunt. So you're like, listen, man, why am I going to pay, Kelly Olynyk $20 million, right? That's not a good idea, right? So let's just be smart with our money, save, because guess what, guys? Stuff that at the halfway point of the season, you can pick up other guys off waivers. Teams are like, we're out of it. Oh, we're going to be good. You can do different things and absorb guys in the cap space. So I think more teams need to be smart about keeping their cap space open so they can absorb contracts.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do, including the Knicks. We'll see what they do. They've only spent 21 of their 52 million. So yeah,
I love it. Brilliant.
I think they're still in play for DeRozan, which again I don't think would be a bad signing because he's gonna. They need another shot creator.
DeRozan gets a bad rap because he doesn't shoot threes like that. He's gonna help somebody wherever.
I'll be honest,
he'll cause space, even if Miami, Knicks, wherever. He's gonna cause like spacing issues. Some people think, but at the end of the day, like he's a shot creator that can get you 22, 5, and 5. And if he's with other good players, like they're just gonna figure shit out no matter how many threes he does or doesn't take. He's a good fucking player.
Murph made a good point. I think Murph was like, yeah, he shoots longer shots. He just doesn't take threes. It's not like he's a bad shooter. He just doesn't step out beyond the three. He had that one season where Dwayne Casey, that was before they won the title in Toronto, where Dwayne Casey had him shooting about 6-7 threes a game. And then once he was traded to San Antonio, we saw those numbers dip down. And the percentage.
But he became a better player in San Antonio. He became a better playmaker.
Facilitator. Also, ability to guard a bunch of different positions. Go ahead, Jarod.
I was going to say that the Stein tweet so Dallas did in fact sign Bullock, and they got some decent shooting around Luka now. You got Bullock who shot 41 last year. They got Sterling Brown who shot 40. And who's the third dude they picked up? They shot
Tim Hardaway Jr. also.
Tim Hardaway shot.
But they re-signed. I thought they got another free agent dude.
I think you're right, but we're probably missing it.
They got better shooting around Luka, which is helpful because Luka gets in he's an incredible passer. So,
but the key is, like you said, it's going to be Porzingis.
Yeah.
And there was something there with Porzingis. Like there was something there between him and Luka.
Like some beef.
And people want to give Luka all these props all the time. Go and try to even take away from Trae Young when he was in the playoffs. Luka's still the better player. There's Luka. I put that on Luka. Like if you got a player on your team with a lot of talent, you got to figure out a way to make that work. You got to take this kid out to dinner or something. You know what I'm saying? Take him to the strip club. I don't care what it is. Like you guys got to get tighter. Yeah. Like Magic. If it was Magic Johnson, that's something he would have done.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I give Luka some of the blame for that. And now you have Jason Kidd coming in there. I feel like Kidd can maybe help facilitate that.
I hope so.
I hope so. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I actually missed that Bullock signing. That they're nearing a deal with him going to the Mavericks. I thought the Knicks might bring him back because he only counted for $5.6 million against the cap. So I thought the Knicks might try to bring him back at a bigger number. But that makes you think the Knicks are probably looking, when you see them bring back Burks, they bring back Noel. It makes you think they're probably looking for someone like a DeRozan who gives you a little bit more shot creation and defense than you would from Bullock. Brian, go ahead.
No signings, but a couple of things that appear interesting. So Patty Mills is being pursued hard, apparently, by the Lakers and Nets, according to Mark Stein. And the Heat have apparently offered Markieff Morris.
Here's the problem with that. Lakers, I knew that was coming. Like, Olympic Patty Mills ain't NBA Patty Mills.
I knew you were going to say that.
I gotta stop doing that dumbass shit. Like, he ain't going to do that in the NBA Finals. Like, I'm sorry.
Why you hating on Patty Mills?
I'm not hating. I'm just saying this is what happens. Oh, he cooked the Americans. I was like, okay, dude, calm down. Like, that's not who he actually is. Okay, like
who's better right now, the Nets or the Lakers?
I mean, the Nets for sure. I mean, come on, it's not even who, by the way, the Nets likely are probably going to do a sign and trade with
Dinwiddie.
Yeah.
What's up with Bruce Brown?
Thought they tendered him, didn't they?
They were talking about
free agent. He's a restricted free agent, so it would be interesting to see if they match any offers that come, or what offers would come from Bruce.
No offers came yet for him. So yeah, I think he's Bruce and Blake. I know are like no, we gotta resign them, dude.
They got to. Yeah. Here's the thing: Dinwiddie going to potentially Washington is a little bit surprising, but I guess that would leave the Nets with Montrezl Harrell and I guess KCP or Kuzma. What are them two?
Please no Montrezl Harrell. Oh, that guy's. Ugh.
Yeah,
but realistically, think about it. It's like
That's
if
true.
you're doing,
he could like rebound. I guess
if you're doing the sign. No, but Jarod,
he goes back to his Clippers 2 years ago.
Aren't Montrezl Harrell and Blake Griffin? Don't they like not fuck with each other, or do I have that wrong?
I don't know.
Maybe they don't know this.
It's the NBA. You better get along, son. You
gotta get along with
Bobby. We ain't got time for that.
We ain't got time for this stuff, man.
I thought that they had a scuffle in a game or some shit.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
I'm sure they did.
But there's some guys who I'm really interested in, like Spencer Dinwiddie. I'm interested to see what happens with him. Schroeder. Also, of course, DeRozan we talked about. I'm really interested to see what happens with John Collins.
They're gonna resign him. They're gonna
resign him. They're gonna give him a deal.
Okay. Spurs want him, but it's probably gonna be the Hawks.
Yeah. And then for the opposite reason, just to see how terrible it ends up, I want to see where Andre Drummond goes.
I hope he gets.
We got news, guys. We got news. Evan Fournier agreed to a 4-year deal with the New York Knicks. 4 years.
How much?
$78 million.
God. No DeRozan.
So it's a little higher than the range I said. I said 17, 18.
Look at Greg. Excuse me.
I do not like the 4 years. I'm going to be straight up and honest about that. Don't like the 4 years. If he wanted to, with maybe an option for the team before. I mean, like,
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Like, I know they wanted another. I didn't mind Fournier. I said this at the beginning. I didn't mind Fournier. I think he's another guy to get
team option on the 4th year.
Whatever.
That does make me feel a little bit better about it. I'll say that.
I guess, but here's the thing. Like, I thought that the deals that they did 2 years ago where everybody got a 1+1 except Julius Randle, who got a 2+1. Like, that was smart. This being a 3+1 for Evan Fournier, like, I get it in this league. You want shooters, blah blah blah.
And Fournier is good. I know. I like.
He's gonna fit. He's gonna fit next to RJ Barrett and Julius Randle.
Next to RJ,
but I'm like,
love it.
Yeah, I feel like, man, like he wouldn't agree to $15 million a year or something like that.
I'm saying,
like,
right? Shit.
So
I don't love watching Fournier. I don't really, and the Knicks don't have many players that you love watching. So it doesn't make the Knicks any prettier, but you could, like you guys, it makes sense.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They wanted a shooter. It does make them better.
Who's your point guard?
One of those rookies.
McBride.
Jesus, yeah, man.
Is it like who's your point guard? Like that. This is where I'm concerned, right? Because
Nicola Batum re-signed with the Clippers.
I like that for the Clippers, actually.
I mean, they need him.
Given what he
Warriors
did last
they were going to get him.
Yeah, a couple other teams tried that too. But look, with Emmanuel quickly, I don't think he's necessarily a point guard, and I think he's made to sort of come off your bench and be a spark plug offensively. Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Mitch Robinson. I guess they're all starting, right? Mitchell Robinson or Nerlens Noel. I could see them, starting Nerlens Noel after the big contract, whatever. You still need a point guard. You did draft Miles McBride. I don't think you're starting him right away. And I feel like they're risk. See, this is the thing with the Knicks. Like sometimes they just run the risk of like all these other moves get made, and then it's like, fuck. All right, Elfrid Payton, come here. You're gonna be our point guard. Chris Duhon, let's go. We got to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think. But see, the thing for me was once they didn't get Lonzo. What the point guard market is not that great. Now, what makes me nervous right now, and Brian, you probably know I'm going, is, I don't want to see 5 days from now they sign Dennis Schroeder. No.
That's what I'm saying. But would you rather Dennis Schroeder or Elfrid Payton?
God,
neither. Hear me out on this, guys. Hear me out on this.
No, you're not going to say Elfrid Payton.
Yes, I am going to say Elfrid Payton. Here's why I'm going to say Elfrid Payton. Here's why. Let's think about it this way. You're not asking me what I would rather in terms of who I think is a better player. I'm saying who would I rather have on this roster. Give me another year of Alfred Payton and keep that flexibility. Don't commit to Dennis Schroeder.
Why are you committing to Dennis Schroeder?
I don't. What do you have left? What do you have left after this Fournier?
In fact, you know what? You know what, Greg? Why not just get the Eric Bledsoe contract instead? Why not?
Now you
why not? Just get the Eric Bledsoe contract because you know why.
But I do want him off Memphis though. So get him out of Memphis.
Bledsoe might be the worst player in the NBA for the money.
Why don't you just? Why not just at this point?
Bledsoe could probably come with a first-round pick.
At this point, why not just bring back Rose and split time with him and the rookies? Why not just do that?
No. I agree. You should bring back Derrick.
Why not?
Rose.
It's
I think
cheaper.
Derrick Rose, yeah.
Yo, Murph, I see you nodding your head. Would you rather have Rose and the rookies or put the money towards Schroeder?
No, I'd keep Rose.
See? That's what I'm saying.
Raymond Felton.
Stop it. Stop. And no to Kemba. No. Sorry.
Yeah, nah. Plus, if you trade with OKC,
I'll take Kemba.
Preston
I'll take Kemba over Bledsoe any day.
I'll take Kemba over Schroeder too.
I'm with you, Jarod. I don't hate the Fournier move.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
I wish it was a year less. If it was 2+1, I feel a lot better about this.
And a couple million less a year.
Yeah.
I mean, the money, it's not quite 80. It's what, 18?
18. The Knicks still don't have anybody.
19 and a half if you're averaging.
The Knicks don't really have anybody on any bad contracts.
Yeah.
You just wonder if do they have the flexibility to trade a year or two down the road as they're trying to build something. They still have somewhat flexibility. I just would have liked it better if it was a 2+1. I don't think the money's that crazy.
No, it's all right. It's just I don't love Fournier, but it's fine.
Did Scott Perry draft Fournier?
In Orlando.
Oh.
Might have.
GMs love their own picks. You know that.
They do love their own.
That's why David Griffin was out here calling Goran Dragic his son because he was with him in Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an argument you could say that the money might have been better spent on DeRozan. I don't know if DeRozan wanted more than 2 years. I also wouldn't have committed to that, but I guess
if you sign and trade Dinwiddie, if you're the Nets, would you take back as part of the deal Otto Porter?
It's not a bad one, especially on that Nets team because he can do a lot.
Look, they had a hard on for Otto Porter years ago. They're the ones that signed him to a 4-year, whatever it was, offer sheet. It was like $100 million or something along those lines.
So GMs love their like. I want to get that. Go back and try to get it.
I mean, look, we just saw it with Miami. They tried to trade for Lowry 7 years ago and then almost traded for him at the deadline, and now they actually got him. Like, GMs love coming back to the players they once got, right? So I could see that happening with the Nets. I think Porter makes sense. I just, it's like I don't know what he is at this point other than a 3-point shooter, and that's fine because it's kind of all they need. So we'll see.
It's another.
Remember, I asked you the other day about who's Jeff.
You did out of order. You did. That's what. That's why I brought it up.
He's kind of like another dude that would fit perfectly with 3 superstars because he doesn't.
He don't got to be the guy.
He was drafted high, and he never had that "I'm the guy" mentality.
You want him to hit a corner 3.
Yeah, you just want him to do a little, and he can pass, he can rebound.
Sorry, guys. Derrick Rose returning to the Knicks, 3 years, $43 million deal.
Well, there goes all your cap space. You're good.
There
goes all your cap space.
So your start. So I know Derrick Rose came off the bench last year. I'm starting him this year. Okay,
I would too.
If it's me, I'm starting him this year, Derrick, because I'm not starting fucking Miles McBride. Like you might need to be in Westchester for.
So you bring a Fournier off the bench?
No, because you could start Rose, Fournier, Barrett, Randall, and Noel or Robinson.
How tall is Fournier?
6'5", 6'6", 6'5", I think. Yeah, he's like 6'5".
All right.
You had to be like 6'3".
Thought he was shorter. Than that.
Nah, he's a 2. He's a 2. He could play some 3 also.
He's 6'7". Damn.
He's 6'7".
Yeah,
6'5".
Yeah, 6'7".
Damn.
All right. I was worried about size. I was like, oh.
I mean, Knicks
still
have about. I'm just trying to do the math. They still got some cap space, right? They got about $10-11 million left.
My only concern with your starting 5, because for me, this is the year where the ball should be in RJ Barrett's hands more. It's his 3rd year. You want to develop him more. You want to see what you have in terms of him being an actual ball handler and potentially your lead guard. I want to see it in his hands more and in Julian Randle's hands less. But I like that Derrick Rose is there, though he's not really a pass first point guard. He could defer to dudes because he's a veteran and guys like playing with him.
Yeah, it's not bad. They'll be all right.
We'll see. For me, it's all about the RJ Barrett jump.
Oh yeah, I mean we said that, right? The RJ
all
development.
About the RJ Barrett jump. Like the way you feel about Bam this year, more or less. I feel the same way about RJ Barrett. It's like it's all about the RJ Barrett jump for me.
If he has the big year 3 jump, they're gonna be straight. If he doesn't,
yeah, I still think they're a playoff team though. I think they're a playoff team. They're not 4 seed again, but they're a playoff team.
The Knicks have
got better.
The Knicks have spent about $54.5 million in cap space. So, do I have that right?
Do they have any exceptions left, mid-level or anything?
Well, if they're up against the cap, then they might. Then they're gonna get what's the luxury tax trigger? They just put the numbers out for all that like an hour ago. The luxury tax number, the cap number, all that.
Yeah, they're done with their cap space, but they can.
So that means DeMar DeRozan is not going there, so we can rule that out.
No, so that's not happening.
Unless they go into luxury tax.
But did you hear the big Knicks news was that Knox is going to play in the summer league?
Yes, that was the big news.
I knew it was gonna be some bullshit.
I knew that was the big news.
Damn, it is 4th year though. Oh my god, are they showcasing him?
Yo, this dude gotta
go ahead, Jarod. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying he gotta he about to be out the league. Like he gotta show something.
Yeah, he got to. He knows that. He knows the time is now.
Because he's literally about to be out the league. Yo, get ready.
Summer League MVP.
I'm calling it now.
If I'm the Knicks, I still want to get a point guard. Like a backup point guard. So maybe
one of those rookies could be a decent backup.
Fournier can handle though a little. He can.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
And quickly was fine in backup role. I'm not I actually think they're fine there. I think they're fine there. Like I think they did fine. Like they brought back their.
You wouldn't want to get like Chris Dunn. I don't think he's gonna stay with the Celtics.
No, I think they're fine. I'm not worried about that. Like I think they're fine. I think they improved a little bit of ball handling with Fournier. I don't know they were gonna do better than that in this free agency. You know what I mean? Like you hope you get on one of these draft picks. Like. They got a little. Go ahead, Murph.
No, Brian, you mentioned Chris Dunn. It reminds me of whatever happened to David Duke.
So he got a draft.
Yeah.
No, he's with somebody. He's with somebody in summer league. Hold on, I'm gonna pull that up. Thank God thank God Google gave me the basketball player first.
Speaking of summer league, LiAngelo Ball going to be on the Charlotte Hornets summer league.
Oh wait, I remember. I know who he's with. David Duke is a Brooklyn Net. And
really?
The reason why I remember that Summer League, I don't know if it's an Exhibit 10 two-way, anything like that. Summer League, at least. I know that because there was a reporter tweeted that out, and then somebody I follow said, "Yeah, I bet you love that name," or some shit like that, because he thinks that the dude that tweeted that out is racist.
Oh,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yo, David Duke can't go by another name. Like I look up his name and it just says David.
Can it be Dave?
Yeah,
it just says David Duke Jr. Nah, he gotta have a middle name or some shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I just would go by Dave Duke. Yeah, call me David Duke. I'm not gonna be associated with that.
We're not playing with that.
I'm legit changing my name.
David Duke Jr.
Yeah, I'm not sure that makes it better.
That's not. Yeah, I was gonna say.
That makes it worse. That makes it worse, man.
Alex Caruso, 4 years, $37 million to go to the Chicago Bulls.
Ooh.
I will say this:
the Lakers get kid.
The Lakers are going to miss him.
They are.
Wow.
They're gonna miss him.
Wow,
he made some money though. He made some money.
So he's gonna back up Lonzo Ball and Zach LaVine, and presumably could play with them in some lineups.
Yeah. Alex Caruso's a solid role player.
The Bulls are interesting.
What's the money on that again?
4 for 37.
So he basically got the same kind of money as McConnell from Indiana.
Yep.
Yeah.
Indiana got 4.
I think McConnell's a lot better. You disagree?
I think McConnell's better. He's all around better.
He's all around. Yeah. He's a better shooter and playmaker.
He's a better shooter, so people value that more. But McConnell, he's one of them white boys I like. You know what I'm saying? I like the way he plays. He's feisty or whatever.
I was gonna say he a Brian kind of guy. He's scrappy.
He's irritant. I only wish
he one of them dudes.
He's a good playmaker, very good passer.
I just wish he doesn't play the privilege game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he grinds for everything he has. You know what I'm saying?
Oh boy, here we go. The hard Scrabble.
Here we
We got about 10, 12 minutes left. You know what I'm saying?
So, no. We're wrapping it up because we're
you got to thug it till 8:30. Some shit's gonna happen.
Nah. We ain't thugging till no 8:30.
You know what? I'm not scrapping it because you know what's starting to scrap? Insides of my stomach.
That's right, boy. I got this burger right. I got this burger right next to me. This turkey burger.
Murph dipped out to get his.
I would have just started eating that shit.
Trying to be classy.
We know that.
Murph was trying to be classy about it. Meanwhile, you trying to talk here going. We're talking about Alex Caruso now. 8:30.
Yeah.
No.
Alex Caruso's a good signing though.
It's a good signing.
I don't love the Bulls though necessarily because I don't know what they're gonna do with Laurie marketing, but we'll see.
Well, that's the one thing we can say real quick for you guys. It's gonna be interesting to see what restricted free agents people either decide who signs offer sheets and who doesn't decide to match. John Collins still out there, Laurie marketing still out there, Bruce Brown with the Nets still out there. It's gonna be interesting to see what teams sign their players or they let other people give them offer sheets and then they decide to match or not. So we'll see. There's a lot to watch in the coming days. A lot of the teams with cap space have spent it already. The Knicks and the Spurs. Knicks mostly to re-sign their own players. So it'll be interesting to see what teams do. Can the Lakers add more shooting? Or do they add more bigs? Where does Andre Drummond go? Does Bobby Portis punch somebody in the offseason? Who knows? Nobody knows with any of this stuff. So we'll see what happens. What are you guys looking forward to see as we close out over the next few days of free agency?
Who's going to poison pill and really go hard on somebody and then force the team to fuck up their cap space? Or be like, because that's the thing. If you do it as the aggressive move when you're fronting, just do it, and the team doesn't bite. Well, now you want to hook my guy, so now you gotta sign him.
Take them. They're like, no. Oh, you gave us that poison pill? No.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I will add that usually sort of the big trade happens late. That's happened the last couple of years. Or we'll see a trade right before training camp or something along those lines. So just because somebody of a certain stature doesn't get moved now doesn't mean it can't happen a month from now, i.e. like a Ben Simmons type or whatever, as teams are figuring out their rosters. So people stay tuned for that. And we'll see where Dinwiddie and DeMar DeRozan, those are probably the bigger names that I'm watching.
Yeah, it will be interesting. All right, guys. That's
and Rashawn Holmes.
Another Bryan player.
Mm-hmm. All Bryan teams coming soon.
Oh shit! Here we go.
I don't think anybody really needs to hear that. Just go look at the Heat roster.
I was gonna say, right? Really, it's just those dudes and dudes like the scrap. That's all you need to know. Miami Heat and guys who scrap.
Duncan Robinson is not an all
Miami Bryans.
Duncan Robinson is not an all Bryan team guy.
Oh,
you know what I'm
God.
I do like him though.
Just ridiculous. All right, guys. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of days. We thank everybody for joining, watching, rock with us on this crossover NBA Exchange and Hard to Sell podcast. Thanks to the guys, Jarod Hector, Jamal Murphy. Thank you for our guy, Timmy, who loves the Heat as much as Bryan does, for joining the show. And it's quite disgusting the way they love the Heat. But that's it. Thanks to everybody else who watched. If you just came in on this late, you want to re-listen to the audio, we'll have this out on a Hard to Sell podcast feed this week. So thanks to everybody. Thanks for rocking with us. And as usual, until next time, y'all. Peace.